What is up, everybody? Today I'm going to talk about solar panels. Should you or shouldn't you? We certainly live in Colorado, 300 days of sunshine, and solar panels are definitely a hot topic here. I'm going to bring you a perspective from the real estate side. Don't worry, we're not going to get into all the environmental drama or anything like that, but just, is it worth it or is it not? Stay tuned. What's up, guys? Jeremy Kane with eXp Realty, living in the Denver suburbs. This is one of the questions that I get asked so much. Unfortunately, a lot of times it's after the solar panels are installed and, my clients, for one reason or another, have a question about it or a question about the value. Typically, I'm not contacted prior. So we're going to dive into the pros and cons so you have it when you need it. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We talk all things Denver real estate. Stay tuned next week for my December market update as we dive into all things real estate market related. But today we're going to get a little tactical and talk about something, that homeowners face as a pro and a con, and we're going to get right into it. Okay, so I'm a positive person, so typically I want to start with the pros. So the first thing, as I mentioned, Colorado has an abundant amount of sunshine, and typically if your roof eaves face the right way, typically we can produce from the sun an adequate amount of power and energy in order to almost eliminate your electrical bill, depending on how many panels you get, how big your roof is, what exactly the sun exposure is. And so that is definitely a pro, is that we do have the natural sunlight that can be converted into power and can come to savings. That's the second pro, so to speak, which, is kind of a toss-up. Certainly, if your solar panels are paid in full and you didn't pay for them, maybe you moved into a home and required the seller to pay them, the energy savings is absolutely key, right? Approximately $20,000 in savings over 20 years. So let's back that up. $1,000 a year is absolutely adequate. However, it's not kind of knock your socks off. And some of these, solar panel salesmen come through and act like you're going to be, saving, hundreds of thousands of dollars over time. And that just really isn't true. Part of this that becomes a con, we'll jump forward a little bit, is the fact that typically the equipment is, on some sort of long-term loan, usually a lower interest rate or a lease, right? 20, 30-year leases I've seen. And if this is the case, you are still paying a monthly cost for the equipment that oftentimes is very close, interestingly enough, to the amount of savings you're having. So if the reason that you are putting solar panels on your home is an energy cost savings, well, hopefully someone else pays for it, because if you are having to pay for that equipment, likely you are breaking even, maybe saving $10 to $15 a month. There are certain situations where that's not true. However, in local, normal neighborhood suburban settings, like I've, done the math, typically the cost savings is very minimal when you factor in the amount of savings you actually have on a net basis. Now, you do have tax benefits and all of that. The tax code's always changing, so there could be some savings as far as that goes. My biggest beef with all of this is if you're paying for, solar panels for 20 years, I guarantee by the time that those are paid in full, the technology is probably pretty obsolete if it even works at all. And that's where, it gets a little fishy. So, that too good to be true, definitely look into the numbers and understand what is the actual savings all in, not just your energy bill, because there is no doubt that you will save money if you're producing your own power, off of your Excel energy bill or power bill, depending on what jurisdiction you live in. Next, obviously, there is the environmental, piece of it. You are creating energy. Now, we're not going to get into, the disposal of the panels and all of that, but it is definitely appears to be cleaner, depending on how they're manufactured and whatnot. So sometimes this isn't all about, the money savings. Some people are perfectly fine if they believe that, this is a better way to go, with the straight up, zero budget. And I don't want to offend anyone or say anything. However, I just do understand that the cost is something that people talk to me about often. So that's the biggest thing. The next thing is a pro. If you're going to be in the home long term and you're ready to roll, that's a huge pro, because once these are paid off, maybe you're paying them off a little bit quicker, you pay them in full at once, you will see a monthly savings. And even in some cases, especially in rural areas, people sell the excess power back to the power company and make a little bit of a credit on their bill that, if Xcel is your gas and electric provider, can kind of be used for that. So certainly something to really weigh the numbers out and go from there. My point is, you're not going to be, a multi-millionaire from putting solar panels on your home as far as the cost goes. So that's kind of the pros. Definitely, a super trendy thing as far as, neighborhoods and wanting to clean it up. And, it's kind of the hot topic. Obviously, if you're in rural areas and creating your own power, more power to you. That this is probably more for, those big suburban areas, neighborhoods where the door knockers are out there doing their thing, and every neighbor in the neighborhood throws those on. So let's kind of dive into the cons here. First of all is the initial cost investment, right? Again, like I said, the potential of paying for these, panels for 20 years, the technology is absolutely obsolete after 20 years, if not 20 days or 20 weeks. And so certainly make sure that you're understanding that and factoring that into the cost. As well, if you're going to sell your house or make a move, and turn it into a rental, are you passing this cost on? Typically, over the last 5 years, it's been a very heavy seller's market. Buyers are willing to do whatever it takes to kind of take over these lease payments and do all of that. However, if you are one of those people that's, looking to move, understand that if the market shifts, you may be required to pay that equipment off in advance. And then your buyer is definitely getting a ton of savings on those energy bills because they are not paying for the equipment. The next con is definitely hailstorms. I had this happen on one of my listings. We were under contract. We had a hailstorm. The roof got damaged. They had solar panels. Definitely cost a delay in, the equipment being removed so that they can put the roof on, and equipment coming back out and putting the solar panels back on. However, there was an additional cost. I think it was approximately $2,500 to $3,000 between the two trips to get those panels removed. Now, in this case, insurance, I think, supplemented the seller for that. However, there's been talk of different insurance policies and actual cash value and all of these things that may change as the industry has been hit pretty hard, with these hail claims. Make sure that when, your policies make changes and things, that coverage is still there, especially if you have those solar panels on, because that is a huge additional cost and could quickly wipe out some of your profit that you are doing, by paying those off and saving on the energy. And so that was a huge time thing. The roofing company can't do it. The, solar panel company has to come out and make that happen. And so just understand that this, could happen. Hailstorms happen in Colorado. Obviously, we've talked in depth about that, the roofing contracts and all of that. This brings me to my next point. I also had a client this year that, actually it's been going on for a couple of years, but they reached out and said, hey, we're getting solar. We're talking about it. I was like, okay, is it really a savings? They said, well, not great, but if we break even, we want to do it, from an environmental standpoint, absolutely okay. And what happened to them is they went with a company, I think that even was recommended to them. Well, that company got bought out in the process. They currently have solar panels on their home that are not currently in use, and they still haven't paid for them because the company sold to another company, and now everyone's saying it's their fault. Xcel needs the permit signed off. Xcel won't sign it, all the things. And so they literally have solar panels on top of their house that aren't working. And obviously that's a problem. So make sure that you are out there doing the work. If you need anything at all, not just solar panels on your home, and you're in the Denver area, please reach out to me. I work with professionals across the industry every day. And if I don't have somebody, one of my agents or somebody that I work with definitely will have a positive referral for you so that you don't get caught in these situations. And that goes for everything across the board. So solar just happens to be a really hot topic, a really hot item. I will tell you that outside of my one, house that was kind of off grid that I sold, solar panels typically have not made financial sense in most cases. Comment below if they absolutely do. I, just haven't seen it, especially in these, suburban neighborhoods. So I hope that helps. Please let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up if you're about solar. Don't give me a thumbs down if you're not, but happy to help and answer any questions that might come about regarding solar panels and a very flashy trend that is going around Denver and the suburbs. So please like, comment, subscribe, share this with anybody who might need assistance locating a company to get solar, or, if you want to run the numbers and do the math before and see if the investment actually makes sense. I'm always here for you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.